All of us here at Retiring Well are thrilled you've tuned in this week. We have a great show lined up for you. Kicking off, John and I are going to be talking about an account that we find ourselves not talking about a lot. HSA accounts. What are they? How can you use them? And maybe what are some tips of how to maximize them for the long term? Then Ashley is going to dive into what is a fiduciary and why does that matter? Are you working with one? And if you're not, what are some things to be looking for? And we're honored this week to have a special guest on the show. Jack is sitting down with a local legend and talking about the gift of giving. It's a great interview. You're not going to want to miss this information. So stay tuned right now here on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Art, as we look back over the years, we've been airing Retiring Well now. This is our 14th season, and we always talk about how hindsight's 20/20. A lot of times people, when talking to financial advisors, they think of, well, the stock market and everything, and that's what you're referring to. But I think one of the areas as we're talking about this is one of those types of accounts that we probably haven't spent enough time talking about are health savings accounts, or HSAs, as you probably have heard. And so it's one of those types of tools that can be pretty valuable, and especially in today's environment where health insurance costs continue to rise and people are concerned. I know a number of folks that we talk to are ultimately delaying their retirement because of health insurance. And so want to dive into a little bit of the details and maybe we'll call it sort of this triple tax advantage of health savings accounts. So if you want to start talking through some ideas there.
Boy, John, you're not kidding at all. I mean, one of those areas that doesn't get talked about and I think is wildly misunderstood as well when it comes to this. You know, folks love to talk about healthcare when they get their monthly premium in the mail or when it's time to make a change and they start to see the costs start to ramp up. Again, planning for healthcare is something that has to start happening way before retirement. If you're somebody that's retiring early, if you're somebody retiring on Medicare, there's so many different options, but we can have so much more flexibility for doing this ahead of time. An HSA or health savings account here is one of those things that can be used to help maneuver in retirement and help take some of that pressure off and has a lot of perks to it along the way as well. You know, John, you talked about the triple tax savings. It's the only account out there that exists in that manner. You know, those contributions that you have going in, again, depending upon your situations, there's different limits and different amounts and all this sort of stuff, but oftentimes those can be tax deductible. Again, individual limits, family limits, income, all that sort of stuff, depending upon where it's at. And you also have to have an HSA qualifiable health insurance plan. So that's a key thing to talk about as well. So these aren't for everybody, but if you're looking into your individual situation, it's something that you could do. So starting off, contributions could be beneficial to you from a tax perspective day one.
Perfect. And so then shifting gears now, the actual growth of that account and how does that work? Well, advantage here is that it's tax-free growth. So again, you got a tax deduction for the money going in was point number one. Point number two is then it's tax-free growth while you have the money invested into the HSA. And so there's a lot of different providers out there that'll offer health savings accounts, but you actually do have the ability to invest that money if you want, again, within this health savings account where you could try and get some actual returns on that money. It doesn't have to sit just in like a savings type of low interest environment. Again, may not be advisable for everyone, but if there's sufficient funds in there that you don't plan on touching for a long time, such as like simply like a retirement account in a way, then maybe you could utilize this health savings account to try and take advantage of some of those growth opportunities.
Absolutely. And so now let's talk about the last piece of it is getting the money out, spending it, right? You know, it's great if we can put it in, we get growth, all this sort of stuff, but how do we use it? Well, generally speaking, you're going to want to use it for qualifiable medical expenses. So co-pays, deductibles, medications, stuff like that. There's a long laundry list of things that qualify for this. And as long as you're using it for those things, you're not going to have any tax consequences to you as you're spending this money, not only your contributions, but any growth along the way as you're spending that money. Again, so as John talked about, you have the opportunity to grow this thing. So I want to suggest something that potentially is a little different than what a lot of people that do have these think about. Is a lot of people put money in and then they use it throughout the year to pay for their expenses. I challenge you to not use it. If you have the cash flow, to use it elsewhere and let this account grow. Let that tax-free growth truly work for you. And then you can use this much later in life to help offset some of those rising healthcare costs.
Yeah, so true. So again, those three items, the tax-deductible contributions, the tax-free growth, and then the tax-free distributions can be so vital when you're looking at a health savings account. And here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we've got team members that help with on the investment side, they help with the insurance side, so they're licensed insurance professionals. So it's something that if you have questions about this and would like the opportunity to sit down, we encourage you to give us a call for no cost, no obligation. Visit and help you plan to retire well.
Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be a daunting task. We can help you navigate the different parts of Medicare and identify which benefits are important for you to receive. Download our free white paper, Understanding Medicare. Know your options and costs, and be informed. Let us help you make educated decisions that are best for your situation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down, and click the link, Understanding Medicare. Know your options and costs, to receive your free copy of this valuable and informative resource.
We're excited to be out here with Veterans in Crisis out at Lock and Heath for the annual golf outing. We've been a proud sponsor of Veterans in Crisis for a number of years. It's great to see the support for our military, retired military in the northern Michigan area. They cover a wide area and they continue to need assistance, and so it's something that we've been proud to sponsor and would encourage you to reach out to Veterans in Crisis to partner with them as well, as they do a lot for our community, and we're so proud to be here and supporting our military.
Hey, we're so proud to be out here on a beautiful day just supporting our military veterans. Veterans in Crisis serves all of northern Michigan with this much needed help as they process, everything that they do and all the danger that these veterans put themselves in, all the stress that they handle. I think back to both of my grandpas served in World War II, and just to hear their stories and hear them unpack it as they got later in life. And then to transition into what we do each and every day as we work with some current veterans. Our clients will open up about what their experience is like, and every time you hear those stories, you're just so proud and so happy that people are so willing to sacrifice, because freedom is not free. And to be in this beautiful country, it was had to be fought for to have these kind of experiences. So we love here at Centennial Wealth to sponsor these kind of people. And so if you have an opportunity to look up Veterans in Crisis, see how you might be able to partner with them like we have in that sponsorship.
Today we're answering a very important question, and that question is, what is a fiduciary and why exactly does that matter? So let's start with the simple definition. A fiduciary is a person that is ethically and legally bound to act in another person's best interest. So in the financial world, a financial advisor, if they are a fiduciary, they must put your needs, timeline, and goals ahead of their own, even if that means making a little less commission. Now compare that to someone who is on a suitability standard. They just need to make sure that the product that they sell you is suitable for you and not necessarily the best option. So imagine going to the doctor's office and they prescribe you a certain drug and that is suitable for you, but not necessarily the best option for your condition. Very similar. So recently a client came into our Traverse City office, a couple of clients, and we'll call them Tom and Linda, and they had been working with a bigger firm that worked on a suitability standard, them not knowing that. And they came in for a second opinion. They wanted to retire within the next 3 to 5 years. And so we were able to assess their portfolio and noticed a lot of hidden fees, a lot of commissions that they were unaware of. And there was some tax efficiencies that could have been updated as well. So we were able to give them this information and give them a portfolio that worked with their timeline, worked with their goals and aspirations, and ultimately they were able to retire 2 years earlier than what they were expecting. So that's what a fiduciary advisor can do for you. And so another question is, how can I know if my advisor is a fiduciary? So the first question to ask is, are you a fiduciary 100% of the time? So some advisors are fiduciaries only a portion of the time, and some products that they sell are just on a suitability standard. So it's important to know the difference. And then number 2, how are you compensated, and does this impact your recommendations? Now, fiduciary advisors must be transparent with the fees and commissions sold to their clients, and they're always putting their best interest at first. The third one is, can you explain any conflicts of interest? Now, a fiduciary advisor must explain a conflict of interest if there's an additional fee or additional compensation that they get in selling this product to you. And they need to explain why this is a good product for you. So why we choose to be advisors here in our Northern Michigan offices at Centennial Wealth Advisory is our firm isn't just about the legal requirement, it's about a moral commitment. And it means that taking the time to truly understand our clients is really important to us to educate you on how you would like to retire well. Now that you understand what a fiduciary is and what we do, there's 3 things that you can do today to help for call to action. So visiting our YouTube channel at Retiring Well, we offer free resources for your enjoyment, and if you subscribe, we offer weekly videos that are added each week. And then secondly, give us a call at any one of our Northern Michigan locations. We are happy to sit down for a consultation and just assess whether or not you might think we're a good fit for you. And then lastly, visit our website at cen-wealth.com, and you can really understand who our team is, what we do, and there's free resources for you as well. So final thoughts is your financial future is too important to leave that to someone's commission schedule and you not understanding it. So just like Tom and Linda, having a fiduciary advisor that's behind you might make all the difference.
Centennial Wealth Advisory is expanding, and we are excited to add a new office in Manistee to better serve our growing family of clients. Our new office is located in the historic Briney Building in the center of idyllic downtown Manistee. Whether you are an existing client or would like to meet for the first time for your free, no-obligation initial consultation, we look forward to welcoming you in our new office or at any of our Northern Michigan locations in Traverse City, Gaylord, Petoskey, Cadillac, or Manistee. At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning with a holistic approach that includes income planning, tax planning, investment planning, healthcare planning, and estate planning. We'll never pressure anyone to become a client. We believe in providing quality financial education, as presented in our locally produced weekly financial television program, Retiring Well, currently in its 14th year and airing on all major networks in Northern Michigan. Whether you're in the Manistee area or anywhere in Northern Michigan, we'd love to hear from you.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, and to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
Hey, I'm so excited about this show. This is called The Gift of Giving, and I'm here with Gerard Winkle from Vandry Home Furnishings, and Gerard was in a very small group with me. There are 6 people in the room, and he said 6 words that I have never forgotten. They just imprinted on my heart so much that for the last 15 years they've been on repeat. And he said one time, in incredible humility, he just said, "I have the gift of giving." And as I thought about that, it caught me so much, because I thought, well, doesn't everybody have the gift of giving? But then I realized that it's the practice of the gift of giving that allows that gift to grow and allows you to actually have the gift of giving. Yes, everybody has the potential to have the gift of giving, but it's in the practice that it becomes a strength. And so, Gerard, those words meant so much to me, and I know it was out of incredible humbleness that you said it in that small group. So with permission, I just said, would you ever want to just come and talk about the gift of giving, what you've learned, and so much. So maybe as we transition, is there, what's your earliest memory of a gift that you might have given, and what was it about?
Wow. Thanks, Jack. I guess it would be growing up with a single mom. My dad died when I was 6, and he was in the hospital most of the time, so I didn't really know him a lot. But on Sunday mornings, she would give me a dime, and she taught me to give as a little boy.
So you remember putting that dime just as a really young man with a lot of life going on that was imperfect or not ideal, and you did that. How has that impacted your life as you've now gone and through all your different business decisions and life decisions? How has that act or that practice of giving impacted your life?
Well, early on I became a Christian, and I learned how important God was, and then family, and then also the idea to take that and live it out in the world. And so I was always taught to tithe, and eventually we got married, and my wife and I struggled a little bit with how much to give, who to give it to, and we finally said, okay, how about if we set an income and we'll give a percentage of that? What if the income went up? And we went to a bigger percentage, to the finally of wanting to give away 50% of what we made, and God has richly blessed that.
So that's awesome. One of the things that you taught me was sometimes you have money before you have mission. In other words, there might be some gifts that you want to give, you want to practice that, because I think every time that you practice the gift of giving, you're actually practicing the gift of purpose. That's what you get to find. But one of the things that you taught me was about the donor advised fund. So can you speak about when you learned about the donor advised fund, what it is and how you might utilize it?
Years ago, I was in a Sunday school class, and I learned about Barnabas, which was a stewardship teaching. And then from that, I learned about the National Christian Foundation, and that is an organization that promotes donor advised funds. And in business, you have good years. I think of 1981, when interest rates went to 21% and profits are down. But a donor advised funds allows a person to be able to look at their tithing or their year and put it away, deduct it. But then in lean years, because we're committed to Christian education and some things, we can make and level out our giving so we don't have to live in fear that what if I can't support my church? And that has just richly blessed, where you can take the tax deduction, put it in a donor fund. You can't get it back for groceries, but you can distribute it, and that has really helped our giving.
Yeah, that makes so much sense because, you know, as I learned through you about the donor advised fund, and it made so much sense where when you give, you can actually then invest part of that giving, and so that gift can then multiply and it can grow, and that influence can be better in those years where, as the business cycle goes, the ups and the downs and all the difficulties that create some instability sometimes, the donor advised fund can.
The other thing, Jack, it really helps is when you go to your wife and say, let's send some money to the Dominican, and she's got a separate checkbook with money in it, it's easier to give the joy too, because sometimes the grocery is tough.
No, I love that. So, well, thank you so much for watching this. We have another segment coming, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and we'll talk some more gift of giving and the influence that it can add value to your life.
If you are nearing retirement or already retired, we invite you to an exciting and informative live event with a complimentary gourmet dinner to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. Information is power. Let us help you make educated financial decisions. Call 888-608-5825 or register online and choose the date and location that works best for you. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be a daunting task. We can help you navigate the different parts of Medicare and identify which benefits are important for you to receive. Download our free white paper, Understanding Medicare. Know your options and costs, and be informed. Let us help you make educated decisions that are best for your situation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down, and click the link, Understanding Medicare. Know your options and costs, to receive your free copy of this valuable and informative resource. If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
Hey, welcome back to this segment on the gift of giving. I'm here with Gerard Winkle of Vandry Home Furnishings, and he's just getting to share about how he practices the gift of giving and what that has done to his life. And so we just got done talking about the donor advised fund, and one thing that Gerard mentioned was you can give to these donor advised funds, and then you can wait, okay, until you find that mission to then have that distribution from it. And there's another thing that I know is in your heart that you love to do, which is to give anonymously. You know, this isn't about Gerard and all of, you know, the things that he's doing. He gets to use this platform to just teach how when you practice the gift of giving, you're actually practicing the gift of purpose. And so there was some cool takeaways. Another thing that I really appreciated as I became a student of Gerard's decisions was the business hours that you would choose for Vandry's. Can you speak into why you chose the business hours, when to be open and when to not be?
Yeah, it was difficult because when I went to college, how you made money was the more hours you operate. But I'm a student of Hobby Lobby, the Green family, and we chose to only open one night a week till 8 o'clock and never Sunday. And Sunday's a big shopping day. But as Hobby Lobby has experienced, we have been so blessed. We've been able to attract employees, that family is important, their sports are important, and so we're not open Sunday and we're only open one night till 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so that had to be pretty difficult, especially during the 21% interest rate, you know, and the debt, and, you know, to be able to buy at volume and all of the pressures from a business owner, but then to say, you know what, I'm going to be faithful in, you know, what we're doing, the communities that we're serving, because they work in the same communities that you're serving?
I always tried to work hard, but I really made an effort to be home at 6:15 for supper. And I'm saying if that's important to me, because even salespeople would say, well, we sell more at 7 at night than we do at 9 in the morning. But God has richly blessed a limit of hours.
Awesome. And then the other thing that I thought was really powerful, and I'll let you, describe how these go, but when I learned how you have your family meetings, there's a lot of business owners that have built successful, businesses, and they're getting to the point where they start to transition. And when you start to transition and start talking about your faith, your family, your finances, and your legacy, it can be done well and it can be done poorly. And one of the unique positions here, we get to sit and kind of see the whole spectrum of health and not health in those decisions. But do you mind sharing about how you approached the two sons that were interested in the business, the one that wasn't, and then and how you're handling those conversations?
No, I'd be glad. I have a lot of friends that have been successful business. I've had salespeople calling us, and I've seen the family tore apart. So maybe 25 years ago, we started having family meetings, very formal. Our lawyer, our CPA, our finance person, and I would make my wife come, and I have two sons in the business and one not in the business, and we take minutes. Okay, when Dad retires, who's going to be president? And yeah, I look back at that, and now even as my sons are married, you've got grandkids. We have two of our grandkids working for us, but I just really encourage to get a mentor, or in our case, we had 3 mentors, and just make tough decisions, because one of our major competitors came and wanted to buy us out. And we chose to stay family, but how much do you share with siblings not involved? And so it's been really helpful to have a formal family meeting once a year at least.
Awesome. And so you've seen the fruits of that. Now, I'm sure there's been times where some of that transparency can create difficult situations, but I think I saw a lot of wisdom and health and the ability to just say, here it is, here's what we want. This is what, Bevan and you decided as when those tough decisions have come. So have you seen that play out and get passed on to your sons and their communication with their own families?
I guess you'd have to ask them, Jack, but I'm so pleased with what God's done, and so we just trust that the next generation will learn from us, and we can pass that on.
So is there some verse that your life verse that you could just blame all of this on?
Well, very early on, the Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God. So this morning when I got up, did my quiet time, how do I seek God first? And certainly family is much more important than business.
Thank you so much, very much, for being here, and thank you for watching. I hope that you got some value in figuring out how everybody has access to the gift of giving, time, talent, resources, money, and whatever it be. But thanks for watching this show, and I hope you have a great day.